Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Quiz for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 13th September today. And in this video, we are going to discuss these important articles which are on the slide, which were actually taken from the newspaper itself. Before we start our discussion, I would like to introduce this initiative to you guys so that you may get very well connected with this video. The first thing which we discuss here, the first set of questions which we discuss here is from the current affairs. We take up the most important articles from the newspaper. We try to break them down into the simplest language possible and derive prelims based questions from them so that it will give you the idea how the questions can be framed from the current affairs and also help you in revising your current affairs. The another set of questions is from the static topic. If you had followed me, then you would know that we had started discussing the static topics here, and today we are going to discuss the preamble to the Constitution of India, some important features of it, and derive some questions from those features so that it will give the proper idea and help you in revising what we had discussed and also prepare you well for your prelims. At the end of this session, we will discuss few previous year questions so that it will give you the proper idea how the questions do come in the exam and what can be the methods by which you can solve those questions and also how to implement that knowledge in the upcoming exams. So with this, let's look at the topics which we have to discuss today. Sorry, before we start discussing these topics, I would like to request you guys few important things here. First of all, please do note all these questions somewhere. Please have a record of these questions somewhere. It is very much important for you. It would be very much useful for you. Once your exams would be near and you want to revise your current affairs, and it won't be very easy for you. Trust me. Then you have to go to the different sources for that. But if you will record these questions, and when your exams would be near, you just have to repeat these questions, you have to revise these questions. It will help you in two ways. First, it will help you in revising the current affairs, and also it will boost your confidence. So please have note of these questions somewhere. It would be very much useful for you. And another thing which I want to request you guys is please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. Now, without any delay, let's look at the topics which we have to discuss today. The first important topic which was in the newspaper is about the Supreme Court on bulldozing properties of the accused. If you have little knowledge about it, you would know that in different states, for example in Gujarat, Maharashtra and UP, those persons who are accused in the riots and other criminal activities, their properties get bulldozed by the government agencies, by the security forces or by the municipalities. And this case went to the Supreme Court, and let us discuss it. What is the issue? The issue of using bulldozers to demolish the houses of the people who are accused of being involved in riots and the criminal activities. Several state governments are using this practice. State governments, local police and municipal bodies bring bulldozers to demolish the houses. Also, Supreme Court has asked states to stop this practice. When this case went to the Supreme Court, the petitioner went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has asked the government to stay this process, to stop this practice. And the Supreme Court is looking to frame all India guidelines with respect to it. With respect to it, the Supreme Court is going to frame the all India guidelines. What would be the criteria, when, how and why should this thing happen? What should be the procedure to do these bulldozing of the properties? Now here the question comes, why about this, what the state governments say about this. They say it is the fine way of bringing justice, it is the quickest way of bringing justice what the people are doing against the law of the land, against the country. So by doing this, it is the proper way of bringing the justice. There are two opinions revolving around this discussion. Those who are in favor of this, they say it is very best way of bringing justice because they believe like that. They believe in the concept of eye for an eye. So they think that it is the best way of bringing justice. Those who are against it, they believe that it is very much barbaric activity because, for example, if any person is accused in a crime, the government, what the state government is doing or what these agencies are doing, they are before before getting the proof whether that person is really guilty or not, they are directly going for the action. And what it does, it violates the due procedure of the law, it violates the rule of the law. And also the another argument which they give, that for example, let's suppose that person is really the guilty, he has really done that crime, then we cannot punish a whole family for his crime, because in his house his family members would be there, children would be there, old age people would be there. So we cannot do this, we cannot damage whole family because of that person's criminal record. And also what the Supreme Court highlighted here, that the due procedure of the law should be followed. Due procedure of the law is very much important. It sees whether the law does respect your fundamental rights, even though it is not directly mentioned in our constitution, but we believe in it that the laws which are framed, they should respect the fundamental rights, they should respect the basic principle, otherwise they would be called null and void. So this due procedure should be followed, this concept revolves behind it, and the Supreme Court had stayed this order of the states, had stayed this action of the states, and Supreme Court is looking for the framework which would revolve for the formation of framework in which all India guidelines would be given, what should be the procedure by doing this, and how, what should be the procedure of finding the person whether it is guilty or not. It is the courts who will decide who is guilty, not the security agencies, not the one who puts allegations against the person. So this revolves around this concept, and let's solve the questions with respect to it in the next slide. The another article which was in the news is about the impact of AI in the health sector. Right now AI is everywhere in the world, everywhere. In which sector you think of, AI would be there. Now the author of this author of this article, he mentions two important drawbacks of implementing AI in the health sector in India. First, it says that India is not ready for the AI in health sector right now, because we don't have those guidelines, we don't have those regulations which would regulate AI, and it could be very much dangerous for India if they will implement in the health sector, because there would be data privacy, there would be different issues with respect to it. And the second thing which it highlighted, that AI is so dangerous that it may overcome the it may overthrow the human healthcare doctors or other workers there. So this is another argument which the author here gives, that AI can replace them, but it is very much futuristic in nature. It can happen. I am slightly in the favor of this, because for example, I will give you an example for this. Right now, if we have small symptoms, earlier if we used to have symptoms, we will go to the doctors, but right now we don't consult doctors. What we do, we'll search on the Google, what I have following symptoms, what can be the disease, what is the problem behind it. Even though right now the technology has not reached its peak, the AI technology has not reached its zenith, it has not reached its peak. What will happen in the future if it will reach its highest capabilities? It may definitely replace the doctors, it may definitely replace the health workers. According to me, in this context, the author is absolutely right if he mentions those problems, but right now this is not the case. In maybe after 10 or 20 years this is not the case, maybe after 100 years this is not the case, but it's very much in the next future. So right now we can't say, we cannot agree with the author, but there are some concerns which, but we can say he is still valid according to me. But this is very much futuristic topic, this is very much something to be discussed upon. It is very much table discussion topic, where different opinions would be carried upon, different opinions would be looked upon. But according to me, this is possible. According to many experts, I'm not an expert, I'm just a student like you, but according to many experts, they believe that this is not the reality. AI won't replace the real doctors, because there is the need of empathy, there is the need of that that doctor patient relationship. But I have an argument for that. You would had heard about the ELISA effect. When anybody gets involved with the computers earlier, they used to develop that emotional bond. So that emotional bond can still get developed between the AI and the patient. So who knows? right now. Let's believe what the experts are saying. It is not possible, but according to me, in future this may happen. And another article, and we will solve this question with respect to this in the next slide. The another topic which revolves around the PM's visit to the house of this Chief Justice of India. And it was the Ganesh Puja there, held at the Chief Justice of India's house, Mr. Chandrachud's house. He is very esteemed, very righteous person, and he held that puja, and in it the Prime Minister was also invited. Now here comes two questions. First, it was highly appreciated by some people because they appreciated their faith, they appreciated the link between these two eminent personalities of the country. But unfortunately or fortunately, there is huge criticism also. Why there is criticism? Because PM, he is from the executive wing, and the Chief Justice of India, he is from the judiciary wing, and it is very much in our constitution, these are very much separated from each other. There is no relationship between the two. And by getting this picture from the internet, suppose CJI, Chief Justice of India, will tomorrow give some judgment which would be in favor of the government. What it will do, it will incept an idea in the minds of the people that it was the Prime Minister's involvement when he was seen with the Chief Justice of India in his house. Because of that involvement, it has affected the judgment of the Chief Justice of India, even though the Chief Justice of India would have made the judgment on the fair grounds, but it will still create the buzz in the population. So with this comes the concept of the justice does not need to be done, it should seem to be done. मतलब कि justice सिर्फ होनी नहीं चाहिए, but ये दिखनी भी चाहिए कि justice हो रही है. So it should seem to be done. अगर ऐसे ये दो eminent personalities मिले, so it will definitely incept the ideas of involvement of the executive in the cases of the judiciary. So it will definitely create buzz in the minds of the people. So it will definitely harm the reputation of the judiciary. So according to the experts and the opposition, this was not a right decision from the Chief Justice of India, inviting him in his home for the Ganesh Puja. And with respect to this, there are, Supreme Court have brought 16-point document in the 1997 earlier, in which the judges have to conduct their lives in the private as well as in the public, so that the justice does not only need to be done, it should seem to be done too, so that their conduct should not impact the credibility of the system itself. So this discussion was around it, and we will solve a question with respect to the separation of powers in the next slide. After that, there was a BRICS NSA meeting in which the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, he has met the PM President Putin, and also the Chinese diplomat, in which it is supposed that he discussed with the Putin with respect to the Russia-Ukraine war, and more would come in the next few days, as we are very near our world is very much near in the next BRICS summit, which is going to be held in the Russia. So PM Narendra Modi will visit there and discuss various issues there. And also it is very much relevant with as the Ajit Doval, he was seen with the Chinese diplomat too. So our relationship with China may also see different changes with respect to it. After that, there was another article, very important article, in which it is said that air taxis will be the reality in India very soon. PM Narendra Modi made this ambitious statement. India is hosting the meeting of Asia Pacific Civil Aviation Organization, with the International Civil Aviation Organization. So in it, the PM Modi, he made the statement that air taxis will be the reality in India very soon. These air taxis will work like the Ola and Uber here for the small destinations. After that, there was another article which talked about the cholera, how deadly this disease is. It is the deadly infectious disease. It is the acute diarrhea infection carried through food and water. The bacteria which is responsible for is Vibrio cholera, and it is the major public concern. What is the reason for it? It is usually due to poor hygiene, sanitation, and etc. And it is usually said it is poor man's disease. It is seen in the least developed countries or war zone countries. So with respect to this, we will solve some question. At the end, we will discuss few features of the preamble, and at the end we will solve some questions with respect to the previous year questions. Now with this, let's move to the question session which we have to solve. Before we go to the question session, I would again repeat one thing here. The motive of this discussion is not to discuss the news analysis. Please note that we are discussing the questions here. So why we are taking these news articles? Only to give you the idea why we are discussing those questions. And also we try to, even though we don't, our aim is not to discuss them in detail, but we try our best to discuss at least those points which are very much relevant for your prelims and mains. So at the end, I will recommend you, please do read the newspapers. If you had not read it, you want to trust us, then trust us. At least we will cover the most important points which are relevant for your examination. We will cover those important points here. Now with this, let's move to the questions which we have to solve today. So here let's solve the first question. It says, which of the following statements correctly describe the concept of due process of law as it is applied in the Indian Constitution? The term due process of law is explicitly mentioned in the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. No, it is not explicitly mentioned in the Article 21. Actually, it was procedure established by law, which is mentioned in there. So statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2, the concept of due process of law was introduced through the 44th Amendment Act of 1978, replacing the earlier procedure established by law. 100% true. Statement 3, the Indian Constitution explicitly guarantees due process of law for all the fundamental rights under Part 3. No, it is incorrect. Statement 4, the procedure established by law under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution ensures that any action taken by the state must conform to laws that are reasonable, fair, and just. This is also correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 2 and statement 4. Now here you can ask a question, sir, what is the difference between due process of law and the procedure established by law? Procedure established by law, in it what happens, it does not check whether the law is good or bad, whether it respects the fundamental rights or not. It just says what are the procedures you have to follow to make that law, or you have to follow for that law. In fact, while as in due process of law, it sees whether the law is just, whether the law respects the fundamental right, basic nature of the Constitution. Otherwise, that law would be made null and void. So this is the basic difference between due process of law and the procedure established by law. And with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 2 and statement 4 only. And from the code given below, the correct code is option B. Now with this, let's move to the question. It says, which of the following statements accurately describe the potential impact of artificial intelligence on primary health care centers? The first statement, AI can enhance diagnostic accuracy and efficiency in primary health care centers by analyzing medical data and imaging results. 100% correct. Statement 2, AI technology can replace the need for human healthcare workers in primary healthcare centers by automating all clinical tasks. It may happen, but right now the experts are saying this is not possible. So statement 2 is incorrect. I personally am against the views of those experts, but for you should follow what they say. So statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 3, AI can facilitate personalized treatment plans and patient management by analyzing large data set and predicting individual health risks. 100% correct. Statement 3 is also correct. Statement 4, AI applications in primary healthcare centers are limited to administrative tasks and do not affect clinical decision making process. This is totally incorrect. It is against the discussion which we did. So statement 4 is also incorrect. Statement 2 is also incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 3 only. Now with this, let's move to the question. It says, which of the following statements accurately reflect the principle of separation of powers as outlined in the Indian Constitution? Why we are discussing this? Because we saw that PM was seen with the Chief Justice of India in the Ganesh Puja. So let's solve this question. The first statement, the Indian Constitution provides for a clear demarcation of powers among the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of the government. 100% correct. Statement 2, the principle of separation of powers is explicitly mentioned in the Indian Constitution, ensuring no overlap in the functions of the different branches. No, it is not explicitly mentioned. There may be the overlap in the functions. So statement 2 is incorrect, even though we can trace the separation of powers in Article 50, but it is not that well mentioned there. So statement 2 is also, it is not explicitly mentioned there. So statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is correct. Coming to statement 3, the Indian Constitution allows for all degree of overlap between the branches of government, such as the president's role in both the executive and legislative functions. 100% correct. Statement 3 is correct. Coming to statement 4, the Indian Constitution enforces strict separation of powers with no provisions for any branch of government to exercise functions beyond its designated role. Totally incorrect, because we had seen the overreaching of the Supreme Court. We had seen Article 131, how the Supreme Court is using that for its giving the complete justice. We had seen the involvement of the Supreme Court in the executive functions as well. So statement 4 is also incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is statement 1 and statement 3 only. And from the code given below, the correct code is option D. Now with this, to the another question, it talks about which of the following statements accurately describe the role and functions of the National Security Advisor in India. We often discuss about the Ajit Doval's visit, but we don't know what this National Security Advisor is. So let us solve this question and find out what it is. Statement 1, the NSA is a constitutional office responsible for overseeing national defense and security policies and reports directly to the Prime Minister of India. No, it is not a constitutional body, but it reports directly to the Prime Minister of India. Statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2, the NSA is a member of the National Security Council. 100% correct, which is the apex body responsible for formulating national security and strategic policies. 100% correct. Statement 3, the NSA has the authority to directly command the armed forces in matters of national security and defense. Totally incorrect. It does not have the authority, but it is the president who has the authority to directly command the armed forces in matters of national security and defense. So statement 3 is incorrect. Coming to the statement 4, the NSA's role includes coordinating with other government agencies and advising on security related issues, but does not include the power to formulate national security policies independently. 100% correct. Statement 4 is correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is statement 2 and statement 4 only, and from the code given below, the correct code is option B. Now with this, let's another topic. It is about which of the following statements correctly describe the International Civil Aviation Organization. We saw that how PM Modi mentioned about the air taxis being reality in India very soon. So for that, International Civil Aviation Organization becomes very important for us for our examination. The first statement about it is ICAO is specialized agency of the United Nations responsible for establishing international standards and regulations for aviation safety, security, efficiency, and environmental protection. 100% correct. Statement 2, ICAO's headquarters is located in Geneva, Switzerland. No, it is incorrect. It is located in Montreal, Canada. Statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 3, ICAO is mandated to facilitate the coordination of air traffic control system among member countries. 100% correct. Statement 4, the ICAO assembly meets annually to make decisions on the organization's policies and budget. No, it meets after every 3 years. So statement 4 is also incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is statement 1 and statement 3 only. Now with this, let's move to the another question. It is about which of the following statements correctly describe cholera and its management. First statement, cholera is caused by the bacterium Vibrio cholera and primarily spreads through contaminated water and food. 100% correct. Statement 2, the primary symptoms of cholera include high fever, severe abdominal pain, and rash. No, these are not its primary symptoms. They are rarely associated with it. What are its primary symptoms? It is diarrhea, vomiting, and nausea, all that stuff. So statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 3, rehydration therapy is the most effective treatment for cholera and it involves replacing lost fluids and electrolytes. 100% correct. Statement 3 is correct. Statement 4, vaccination against cholera is available and recommended primarily for travelers to areas where cholera is endemic. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is statement 1, statement 3, and statement 4. And with this, we complete our discussion with respect to the current affairs topics. Now let us look at the static topic which we have to discuss today, and it is the preamble to the Constitution of India. And here we have to discuss about the preamble to the Constitution of India. In the last class we discussed about it. It is the American Constitution which was the first to begin with the preamble. About the preamble, another point, N.A. Palkhiwala, he said that preamble is the identity code of the Constitution, and it was the Pandit Nehru, who drafted and moved the objective resolution for the preamble. So now today we have to discuss about the ingredients of the preamble. What are the ingredients of the preamble? What does preamble reveal? So, our preamble reveals 4 ingredients. It is first the source of authority of the Constitution. The preamble states that the Constitution derives its authority from the people of India. This is the source. What is the source of authority of the Constitution? From the preamble, it is the people of India. The second ingredient of the preamble is nature of the Indian state. What is the nature of the Indian state? It declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republican polity. So it defines the nature of the Indian state, which is this India to be declares India to be of a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republican polity. It also defines the objectives of the Constitution. What are the objectives of the Constitution? It specifies justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity as the objectives, and also it gives us the date of adoption of the Constitution, and it is November 26, 1949. So this is about the ingredients of the preamble. Tomorrow we will take up the preamble in itself. We will see what are the key words of the preamble and try to discuss them one by one. I hope you would like the video. I hope you got this basic idea. If we will take the full article itself, it will take 1 to 2 hours. If you had been in the institutions, you would know how much time consuming these articles are. So our purpose is to study and slowly learn everything. Tomorrow we will take up the preamble itself and define the terms which are in the preamble. So with this, let us solve the question which can be formed from today's discussion. Here the question is, which of the following statements accurately describe the source of authority of the Indian Constitution as stated in the preamble? So what is the source of authority? First statement: the authority of the Indian Constitution is derived from the British Parliament, which granted independence to India. Totally incorrect. Statement 2: the preamble of the Indian Constitution asserts that its authority is derived from the people of India who adopted and enacted it. 100% correct. Statement 2 is 100% correct. Statement 3: the Indian Constitution derives its authority from the United Nations, reflecting international democratic norms. Totally incorrect. Statement 4: the preamble indicates that the authority of the Constitution is vested in the President of India, who acts as the supreme authority. Totally incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is statement 2 only. With this, we complete today's discussion with respect to the static part also. Now let's move towards the previous year questions, get some information from them, and let's try to implement in those questions, that information in the next exam. Here the first question is, what is the correct sequence of the following events? If you had followed me, you would know one thing about it. Whenever such questions do come, I mark them in the correct sequence so that the confusion may be avoided. So for that, these were the options: the partition of Bengal, happened in 1905, then the Lucknow Pact in 1917, Rowlatt Act in 1919, Feb, and introduction of diarchy in 1919 December. So this is the chronological order of the events. After that, another question which was there in the previous papers, it is the Barah Dakoti was the first major venture of the revolutionary terrorists of the freedom movement. Was it in Bombay, Karnataka, Punjab, East Bengal, or the Madras Presidency? It was definitely in East Bengal. It was organized by Dhaka Anushilan under Pulindas. So for this question, the correct statement is option C. With this, we complete today's discussion. I hope you would like the video. I hope you would share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from it. And please do write in the comments what are the changes which we should bring in our teaching style, and what else should we bring for you guys. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. May God bless you.